How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the James Loud Podcast. And today our special guests are Old E and Bleezy from Mendo Dope. How are you guys doing today?
Man, we're doing great, man.
Yeah,
Chilling.
super good.
Dude, so I'm so glad to get you on the show finally. I've known about you guys forever, but you know, Marlon always said great things about you. He's known you guys for quite a while. You guys have done music together. Yeah, Marlon loves you, so I'm so glad we could finally get you here on the show.
It's been a long time coming for sure.
Yeah.
We're super stoked to be here. Yeah, Marlon's a good friend of ours, known him for quite a while now. So, yeah, vibes, the crew, we're all connected.
Yeah. We're all connected. Yeah, the good people are all connected.
Yes.
You know, I feel like literally that's how it is, especially with Californians. We're out here giving each other high fives. The people in the industry, you know, I think there's other markets that are more competitive and people see each other as competition. And I feel like over here in California, for the most part, we all love each other and we're giving each other high fives.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's like, yeah, that's very true. We all want each other to succeed. We're all just trying to figure out a way to, keep it pushing.
The real ones are trying to support each other and make sure we can all elevate and stay here. Yeah.
Well, and so you guys aren't just music. You guys are very well diverse. You guys have your own farm. You guys produce amazing flower. So yeah, I love it. You know, there's some guys that just rap about it, and then there's guys that really live it and rap about it. And you guys are there.
No doubt. Yeah, our music and farming has been like intertwined since the very beginning. When we first started getting into music, we were just starting to dabble with growing our first seeds. You know, back in the day, our first grow and album came out, you know, was 2007. Our first underground album came out.
Wow.
And we had a small little grow right before that, because on the album artwork, we actually had a couple plants in the picture on the art. That was like our very first seeds.
We just redid
Nice.
some frames in the studio, and we went back to our first album, and it's one that we printed ourselves from Staples. It's just regular paper printed from our printer, and we stapled together. Like we made like 100 albums or something.
Yeah, well, like printed 100 of them.
And we were looking at it just recently, and we're like, look at that. We got the weed on there. We had a whole handful of hash.
Rock of hash.
Just like a little collage in the back of the album cover.
Picture of our old dog was in there and stuff. Yeah, and like the crew that was originally in the group, you know, it was me, Bleezy, our homie Twinkzilla, and our brother Nick B, who passed away. That was the original NOYB boys. So it's crazy how long it's been since that. It's so trippy thinking back to where we are now, like 2025. It's a long journey.
It's wild. Yeah, I mean, it's a long, strange trip. You know, we were talking about a little bit before the show about the Grateful Dead and impact of the Grateful Dead. And I feel like you guys are directly impacted by the Grateful Dead. I'm directly impacted. Like we were over time, and we've evolved from what the Grateful Dead was into so many different things. You know, musically, with cannabis, I think cannabis is a big part of the Grateful Dead in a lot of ways, especially the parking lot. We're talking about the lot. We're talking about the music, the vibe, and cannabis kind of puts you on a vibration, right? I think that's the way to say it best. Is it puts you on this vibration, and all of that is part of this vibration. The stuff that I'm doing, the stuff that you're doing, and it's just an amazing time to be alive in so many different ways. I think some people get beat up about like, oh, the price is down of cannabis, or the price is down, the economy's hurting, but in reality, like we're in a beautiful time.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to do what we're doing for regular people, to not be harassed, for new people. There's so many new people every day that the stigma is like disappearing. You know, there's like, that's one of the coolest things I think too, is just like we're one generation away or a couple old people away from changing their minds that cannabis is bad. And,
I mean, the haters are slowly dying. Unfortunately. But,
you know,
it's just the evolution.
It was just imprinted in their brains for so hard.
Some can't be changed.
Well, and even like my parents' generation, they get it. Like my parents, especially because of what I do, they understand it and they're cool with it. Like my parents are totally like, they get it. They can appreciate it even. Where I think my parents' not so much. They wouldn't, if they were around, I don't think they would understand it the same way, because it was so bad for so long. You know, they criminalized it and they turned us all into outlaws, right? And now changing the outlaw theme to, okay, we can be business people, we can be musicians that, you know, the theme behind Mendo Dope is cannabis.
Yeah, every song.
You know, literally everything is about cannabis with you guys, which is great. Yeah, so tell me how you guys got your start. You guys started high school smoking and it evolved from there, or were you guys from Mendo?
Yeah, we're from Mendo, born and raised, been out there all our life. You know, getting into the game, it was just getting kids growing up and trimming at different farms at the very beginning, you know, just working for people that were...
After we started smoking.
Well, yeah.
Like our uncle was pretty much the
Very
first, we stole weed from our uncle and then we smoked with our cousin. So, and after a little, I don't know how quick we were hooked, but we were hooked pretty quick after that. And we just kept it going. I don't know. We never really took a break, I don't think, from then. And then we started, loving weed so much. We started finding people that we could trim for. Yeah.
Wow.
And just had friends that were growing that said, you guys want to, be a trimmer? Like, hell yeah, we do.
Totally. Well, that was the thing back in the day. That was like the entry to get into the scene. Like if you wanted a job, especially in Mendo, it was like water boy or trim.
Exactly.
Or both. You know, a lot of times it was both.
Yep.
Too.
And we went through stages of working all kind of crazy places, random jobs here and there. We working landscaping jobs. We working at a pizza place. So I even worked at Subway back in the day and used to make sandwiches and shit. And then the year would come, or the season would come around. I'd be like, man, I got to quit this. It's trim time. I make way more money up on the hill trimming than I'm going to do here.
Yeah, totally. Well, and it kind of puts you on a path, right? So we all got put on this path a long time ago, mostly because of passion back then. I mean, yeah, some people did it for the money, and I think there was good money, especially back then. But I think a lot of people in this industry are passion driven.
For sure. That's how we've been from the beginning. Like we've never made a whole bunch of money out of like the weed game itself, itself on like cannabis, the stuff we do is so much more about the music and the message and what we're doing and educating and spreading things around. But like we got into it just like cannabis saved our life, like back in the day we used to, as brothers, we fought all the time. Like our pops died when we were young. We had problems all the time growing up and fighting each other, and then gradually starting to get into weed and started smoking together and hanging out with the homies. And I was always, I'm 2 years younger than Bleez, so I was always with the older homies hanging out and smoking out when we'd get busted by our mom smoking in the back bedroom when she'd come home. And just like the passion that we had was just always like we knew how much this plant was helping us and what it was here and what it was doing and changing our feeling of what was going on in our path of life. Like what we could have got into without weed is crazy. Like where we would have been now if we never got into cannabis.
Right.
It would have been a totally different outcome.
Yeah, a whole different trajectory.
Totally different. It saved us. It put us on the right path, and our path that I feel like we were definitely meant to be on. Yeah. And like really where we're growing up in and the people we're surrounded in and like the culture, we're living in the culture and we're representing it and putting it out there for people to understand where we're coming from and what all of us are doing here, trying to put out real medicine, trying to help people and just trying to enjoy life.
Bringing balance to the force.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's really what it's all about, is like making the world a better place in our own ways, right? Because I feel like by doing what you were meant to do here, you're making the world a better place.
Yeah. And a lot of people have told us, we've met so many people that have so many cool ideas and like theories and stuff. And like being positive is super addicting, and to keep spreading, and weed makes people so positive and keeps like everyone happy together. And like, it's super good for like just mingling, you know what I mean? So it's like weed's super special. It's crazy special for that.
Totally. And I feel like weed tunes you in, alcohol tunes you out. I say it on my show all the time, but like really like alcohol and some of these other drugs, they tune you out, right? So
exactly.
Like cannabis and psychedelics, for the most part, they tune you in and put you on that vibration that we were talking about. And I feel like that's what's so special, is when you can be on that vibration, and usually that's where you realize everything's okay.
Yep, for sure.
And part of that is also living in the moment. When we talk about that, what does that vibration mean or whatever? But I feel like when you're able to live in the moment, whether you're at a show, whether you guys are performing, whether I'm in my grow rooms doing my thing, making seeds, writing, we're doing this stuff. It's like whenever you're in the moment and you're living it, that's what that vibration is all about.
Exactly. You're catching that moment in time, that feeling right there.
Right. Well, that's when the music's special, right? Like, I mean, I've seen you guys perform a few times now, and it's like, you guys were at Cannabis last year, and that was amazing. That was one of the best. I've seen you guys over the years, and that was a special performance. That was really good. And I was in the moment then, and I'm like, man, you guys just blew it up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's so fun playing music with the band now. We've been taking it to a super next level, and it's so cool being like talking about the Grateful Dead and stuff, because the more we learn about them and the more we know, it's like that. It's insane. Like, I wish we would have been around a little earlier, because that would have been a crazy fun time to see those guys jamming and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
My God, yeah. So like, it's so fun making music with the band and like guitar stuff that's going crazy, and we're all like hitting these different things, like that whole musical vibe, being super stoned, doing all this shit. It's so fun.
Well, especially smoking and music just go hand in hand. And I feel like part of that Grateful Dead vibe is like they never played the same song twice the same way.
Mm-hmm.
right?
For sure,
so like
yeah.
they played the same song over and over, but it was never exactly the same. And,
Yep.
and got to give a lot of credit to Bobby and the way he was able to play and change it up all the time. And, just really, it was all about the experience. Kind of like we're talking about String Cheese that's going to be at Cannabis. I feel like they're another very experience driven band that it's about going to the show for the experience. You get a different experience every time you go. It's something special. You never know what you're going to get.
Yep.
And
very smart.
Yeah. And I love that because life is about experiences anyway. But if you can take something like a concert and turn it into an experience where it's like every time you go, it's going to be different. It doesn't matter whether you go 3 nights in a row. It doesn't matter whether you see them 6 months later. If you look at a lot of stand-up comics, they do the same jokes or little bits over and over. I love stand-up comics.
Yeah, for like a year
or
or 18 months or whatever. They have like a steady style.
But like if you go see them on tour, a lot of times they go through the same bits, right? So like whereas the Grateful Dead, it was like every show was a different style. Maybe they do the same joke or not even joke, but the music.
Same song with different solo or
Exactly.
extended version.
Yeah.
These extended versions where they soloed just so freely and it was just in the moment feeding off the crowd.
Yes. Yep.
It's
so awesome.
Yeah. And then String Cheese is like that. They feed off the crowd and it's like a full immersion, right? That's what's so great about that style.
It's super cool. Like we grew up, super hip hop rap based and from Reek Daddy and all these homies from the Crest Side and Vallejo and Sacramento and the Bay out here and Mac Dre and everything, so we grew up listening to, and like all that is so cool. But then when you get to performing, like it's so fun doing it with the band. Like something about live music with the band is just like, it's way different than playing track shows, playing your song. And especially a lot of people play their full song with the vocals in the background as like regular rappers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, they're not even really like have an instrumental a lot of times. It's not super live at all. And it is the same show every time. So like to do live and to be a band that does like what String Cheese does and Grateful Dead did is crazy sick.
Yeah.
And it's hella work too, because we love the band and we play as much as we can and we work hard. Like we just did a 5 new songs in a super professional studio in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And songs that we've had out, like we did Why We Grow and I'm From the Mountains and a few others. And it's like a full band version that we've never done before. So everything's like hip hop based and I make all the beats and we record them in our studio.
Right.
So this is like full band, full recording, 1 track all the way through, as live as ever. It sounds so good already. It's awesome. It's amazing.
So cool. Yeah.
Such a dope studio. We're so stoked.
Right.
Yeah. It's been so dope. Like we were talking about it. It's crazy. It's been like about, I think 10 years now that we've been rocking with the band. Like since we first started, like actually forming our real band with Blap on the drums, Trevor's on the bass guitar, Donnie Fingers doing the guitar. And it's just crazy how far we've came now. And we were sitting at the studio just looking around, just talking. Like it's so dope to see, we've never done this big explosive boom, all of a sudden blown up, but it's been a steady increase all the time. We're always elevating, climbing up the mountain. We're climbing. And with the culture, we're all standing together. And like the band is just like so dope to manipulate these songs and not be stuck in the same performance every time. Like you're saying, it's a new experience every show. The vibes are a little different.
Right.
Each crowd gives you a little different vibe, the state that you're in or whatever it is, the weed you're smoking from this place.
Yeah.
It's so sick.
And the beauty of live performances is people do make mistakes here. And it's about like, most people don't even notice them. But if you're up there performing, you pick up on all the little things, you know what I mean? And it becomes a thing of beauty, especially when the crowd doesn't even notice it. And But yeah, it's a trip. Even like with Marlon and the band he's playing with now, it's so much better with Marlon with a band than just singing over tracks.
For sure.
And nothing wrong with that with the DJ and everything else. That's cool too. But like really where he shines is like when he's with that band.
It's
with
way doper.
Yeah. It's just, you could see it. It's all melted together so perfectly and the vibe is there. Like Marlon's so talented. He's got such a sick voice. Like we're super happy to be like good friends with Marlon. He's such a dope singer and just a good person. Like
he's just like when I think of people that are wholesome, he's like one of them. Like he's just a great person. He's just and he's one of my best friends in the whole world. But someone who loves his friends, loves his family, and tries to make the world a better place in his own way.
Yep.
Right. And he's the guy who'll give you the shirt off his back. And he's always been that way since day one. We've been friends for a long time. I've seen him in many, many countries. We've been all over. We work in the Caribbean together doing some stuff. St. Vincent. We just donated 30,000 seeds to the island.
That's so
and,
badass.
And they went through them and they're ready for more, which I think that's great.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Keep it growing.
Really good people too. Like just down there. I mean, I think the Caribbean vibe is pretty special anyway, you know, and it's like anywhere that is going to bring Marlon where he's going to take me is going to be good. You know, Trinidad's pretty wild too. It's a whole different world down in Trinidad.
Yeah. We haven't been able to go down there yet. Yeah.
But yeah, St. Vincent, they're doing a big music festival. They should get Mendo Dope out there.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Would be wicked. We're ready.
Hit us up. Like, we're super ready.
On a mission right now. Our goal right now, you know, is just like spending a lot of more time on music. Like we've been tucked in the hills for a long time, grinding deep and like secluded and cut off from things. And now we're really focused in on a lot of music things, a lot of like traveling, trying to get to new places. Like this year, being able to go out to Cannabis this year was amazing.
Yeah, it was so great seeing you guys out at Cannabis.
Man, it was so fun.
I missed the performance.
It was,
but it was great seeing you.
It was lucky. And it was like just like happened to like we snuck it in. We got lucky with that one, and it was
the hash calabash. Yeah,
and the hash calabash was so fun doing that for Frenchie. Like the vibe there was so awesome. The people were so cool, hanging out with old friends of Frenchie's and hearing stories about old times in the hills. Like it's just
so cool.
It was a vibe. It was so dope. It was an epic way to to get. That was the furthest that we've actually traveled and like been able to do music and even just like going out there and tapping with our people, with the culture, and like fans that have been wanting to meet us for 10 plus years. They've been following us, and it's so cool to finally get to meet these people and see the support that they have for so long, and to be so happy that we're finally out there. It just like it felt so good, and it's just like it's dope. Like I could see how far we can take this so much further. Yeah, and there's only a handful of guys doing what you guys do, especially for cannabis and music, that are just so out there with it. I mean, obviously Cypress Hill, they're kind of the start of all this.
For sure, the godfather of it.
Like literally,
he's the one. We respect him more than the most. I would say almost like Snoop Dogg too. Very crazy pioneer, but Be Real and Cypress Hill and all those guys.
Sen Dog, all those guys, dude. It's like, it's amazing what they did for the culture. And Cottonmouth Kings, there's another one. They've done some awesome stuff too.
Definitely.
But there's not a lot of guys that have been able to just put it out and make it authentic.
Yeah.
Right? I think at the end of the day, authenticity, is kind of what has carried you guys, especially coming up from the hills and growing your own plants and like really doing it. And then it's like, I remember seeing you guys with big ass plants. I'm like, who the fuck? Like, is this real? Or are these guys really doing it? And then it's like, yeah, these guys are the real deal. It's great when it comes across as being something so authentic.
For sure.
Yeah, I think weed, like how you say it tunes you in too. You could tell, like weed.
Yeah.
People that smoke a lot of weed can tell what's bullshit, not bullshit.
Right.
So it's like that's why there's probably only a handful of people like we just named that are even in this category. There's not much people that come across as authentic. There's a lot of people that love weed and love talking about smoking weed, but to be like really on the grower side or on the deep culture side, medical side, very few people. Garth Cultivator, R.I.P. was one too from Humboldt.
R.I.P.
He passed away recently.
Underrated. He's another real ganja cannabis soldier, who's a grower and a musician.
Right. They had the passion.
They had the passion, yeah. And like when we were getting into music, it took us a bit because we got into the music game with Reek Daddy on some straight gangster ass music,
right?
And that's like a lot of shit that we grew up on was hardcore gangster rap, like shit from out in the Bay. Andre Nicotina, X-Rated, Brother Lynch, all this crazy shit.
Brother Lynch Hung?
Yeah, we love Brother Lynch.
Yep.
So like,
that was some crazy rap. That was crazy.
Like, really we love the craziest. Yeah, it's trippy for us because like that.
Totally.
It was just, we loved it. It's just like, I don't know, the feeling of it, the vibe we were in as kids growing up before we got fully into weed. And like, that was the music we were soaking. It imprinted on us hardcore.
Well, and that music, you guys came into the best era with Bay Area music. There's some amazing just talent. It's like Mac Dre, Too Short.
Yeah. Nicotina.
Spice One.
Dude, so many guys. There's so
Sally
much.
Cell. Like, oh man, there's so many classic shit that we grew up on that's like, anytime we hear one of those songs come on, it's boom, instantly it's like that's
Digital
like a moment in time, like capture too, where
even
it take you back to way back in the day when I was smoking in the homie's room, and I remember hearing this song, like,
a lot of my beats, like when I listen to certain old stuff recently, I have a lot of heavy influence from the Bay Area for sure. And I always knew that, but I even like realized it more like last week. We're super high in the studio listening to some old stuff.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I was like, dude, this sounds just like super my style.
And then,
I love old school Bay Area rap too. Like E40, I mean, all that stuff.
Classic. And then like, like Cypress Hill and these guys, like rapping about weed, like of course it caught us like hella quick, and we're like, oh,
Seriously.
these guys are fucking so sick. We're just soaking it in, like, and gradually getting into deeper into music and figuring out our role in music after being in the gangster scene for a while with Reek Daddy and recording all kind of crazy stuff.
Right.
And like even Reek, he pushed us to go out and like find a new lane. He was like, you guys have worked with all of us out here in the Bay and Crestsiders and people like us, but you guys got to go out there and get new fans and like do something else.
Yeah.
And we're like, man, like it's time to, we went into a mission of like that was when we went full like cannabis culture, and like we're going to really start rapping about what we're doing up here in the mountains as like farmers. Like everyone, we've heard all these songs about smoking and some grow talk, but like not the real grit and grind and the sweat out in the hills.
No, there was nobody really doing that.
There's no one doing that.
Nobody took that to that next level. I mean, there was maybe some smaller guys. I don't even remember their names though. That's, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
There was definitely people that tried to do it, and you guys actually pulled it off.
For sure, yeah. And we just stuck with
Really
it.
cool.
Like we just like started coming out of the angle of like real shit that we were doing, that we were seeing from the crew, the circle that we were in.
Yeah.
And then just being able to meet some of these guys that we got to kick it with over time, you know, like these legends like Subcool and Eddie Lepp and Frenchie, and like this game that imprinted in us and that we just soaked up when we were with them, and just the vibes, the stories, the history, the like the sacrifice that these people went through and all the stuff. We wanted to capture that in the music and put that out as capturing real cannabis culture music.
Yeah, man. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times too.
Good times.
Crazy.
Mendo used to be,
cool.
I mean, not even used to be. They still have amazing weed. But back in the day with Humboldt and Mendo and even Sonoma, but really Mendo and Humboldt were the places to go in the 90s to get weed. Like you wanted to get fire, it was up there. I remember going up there with my buddy Steve. I had to drive, and I drove him up to Mendo, and it was like midnight or 1 in the morning. And this is back before cell phones even. We had to go to a parking lot, and we had to park in a certain spot, and then this guy would flash a light, and we had to walk towards him. He made me walk too. No one was allowed to stay in the car. And so we had to walk towards the light, and this dude ended up behind us with a gun and everything, but sold packs, right?
Uh-huh.
These were expensive. But that was my early memories of like Mendo Perps, like when they had that purple weed from Mendo.
Uh-huh.
I guess I've heard different things about Mendo Perps. What's your guys' take on it genetically? You think it's just anything purple from Mendocino? I've heard that it's a specific genetic.
I saw you talking about it on one of the last podcasts. Actually, I think it was Soul King. And Mendo Perps, to me, we had to hella people that were growing. It's all the same that we saw that same cut at those times, like those 2-3 years.
Right.
And it wasn't like Granddaddy Purple or Purple Kush or anything. It was a weird flavor. It wasn't. It wouldn't almost relate it to Blue Dream, but it was a weird, in a way, hazy-ish thing or something. It wasn't. I don't know if you know hazy, if it would be called hazy either. Fruity, but not grapey.
Fruity but funky.
Funky, fruity, and a lightness to
Weird.
it. It wasn't full and thick kind of a smell. It was not even the biggest yielder either. Kind of a funny yielder all the time.
Good sized buds in the bag, but I mean, I remember.
Pops and nothing on the bottom, I think, style.
Interesting. But really dark purple.
Super cool bag of pill. Crazy pretty. But at that time, we were hooked on the Purple Kush and the Granddaddy Purple.
Granddaddy Purple.
GDP, man.
GDP.
I got my ZDP coming out. That's going to be a game changer.
That sounds delightful.
And it's funny because anyone that's old school knows what ZDP is. They're like, oh yeah, I get it. Like it's not hard to explain, because if you tried ZDP, it's very ZDP dominant with a little candy. And I'm looking forward for that one for this summer. I get a bunch of new stuff. My dream candy is another Blue Dream with a little bit of candy on it. That's like a dead ringer. It's leafy. The one complaint I get about it is too leafy. All right. So I don't mind it, because once you trim the leaves off and you smoke it, the consumer doesn't care.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more work goes into it, but like some of the best things, you're going to have to deal with certain things like that. Low yield, or it gets a big yield and it's a little leafy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Everything that's like really bomb, there's some extra thing that you got to do for it.
Right.
It's you got to put in extra work.
Every single star hit. Yeah, it can't be
it can't
all
be
around
easy
the board.
all the way. Yeah.
Yeah, if it was easy, I mean, it'd be like Purple Punch, and then you don't get terps.
Yeah, it's everything
Yeah.
is missing. There's like something that can be perfected still somehow.
Not that I don't like Purple Punch, because I do like Purple Punch as a breeder. I just don't think Purple Punch by itself is worth a shit. Smoking it's like cardboard terps in my opinion. I think it grows amazing on the plant. It looks amazing, smells amazing when you're growing it. You harvest it, you dry it. You better turn it into extract, because if you roll a joint of it, it just doesn't taste terpy. You lose the flavor. It's just very bland.
What's the blandest strain out there, you think?
I would say Purple Punch is the blandest, but and then Oreos is not necessarily bland, but it's just a terp profile that I don't like.
Oreos is interesting. We grew it for the first time, and it was like it was bland, you know, like obviously, but then after like 7-month cure, it started to kind of get something.
I would throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, I had a jar that was, we just had it for a long time, and I would just go to smoke it for the looks too. Every once in a while, I like to break it down, just see that cool bud getting broken down. And it started to get a taste actually after 7 months.
It probably tasted better because it couldn't taste worse, right? Like, and no
better,
hate on any of these guys, the breeders and stuff like that. It's cool. You guys bred something that looked amazing, and like I said, it's one step away from being really good.
For sure.
It's ridiculously pretty.
Dude, it's ridiculously beautiful. Purple Punch is also ridiculously beautiful. It looks amazing, and it has an interesting, like that Purple Punch terp profile is actually really interesting. Same thing, like Red Pop from Exotic Genetics. I love it for what it is. I don't think the smoke is terribly great, but it has like this unique cola smell.
Okay,
right, and then when you breed it to runts like he did, he got the red runts, and that's fucking what breeding is all about. Like at the end of the day, when people are like, "Who's your favorite breeder? What do they breed?" Mike from Exotic is one of my favorites because of that, and also Grease Monkey and a bunch of other stuff. He's done some amazing stuff.
Our favorite, for sure.
And someone I have a lot of respect for. But tell me about one of your favorite breeders.
Oh wow.
I know you guys are breeders too.
Yeah, we're starting to be. We're learning for sure. We're getting into it. We wish we would have done it a long time ago. When we were working with Subcool, it was so awesome to see everything get made, and then like Heroes of the Farm and Odie from Oregon and them.
Yeah.
Homegrown National Wonders and stuff.
Dude, Odie's the man.
He's
they did that Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I know.
And they had some like wet
purple
high and some other shit. Oh,
so much special things.
So it was so cool seeing that, but we were like wanting to grow so much. We didn't almost want to breed or just didn't have time for it, or we're focused on music and growing already.
Right.
So we're just watching it. And then through the year, Subcool kind of wanted us to breed more. He's like, you guys have done so much stuff. You should be breeding too. You should be making strains. It's the last thing you haven't done. And then he's like, you should make a Mendo Dope strain. And we couldn't figure out what to make for Mendo Dope. Like, what are we going to make, a gassy strain or a fruity strain? Or so many cool strains out there that we love. We couldn't pick. So we had Subcool just make it for us. And, and then that started that. But after we made it, the fires wiped his house out. So all the seeds were gone. So then we remade it at our house. It was like our first actual breeding project.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it was interesting how we were not forced into it, but it was like it had to happen. We had to be the
trying
ones
to recruit
do
you for the Green Avengers.
No doubt. Yeah.
That
He
group
wanted
was
us to continue to do that.
well, and it's so funny because I feel like that is a salute to you guys, because if you look at the group that came out of that, every single one of those guys in their own right is extremely talented and special to this day.
Yeah.
Like literally they impacted the cannabis industry so heavily. And whether you know it or not about these guys, but like Heroes from the Farm, Odie, Shane, Sonny Chiba, and the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Even Miss Jill, she's done okay with some of the stuff that she's done. Jelly Bean, all that, I mean.
Yes, Jelly Bean's a super big strain.
Yeah,
It's been in
totally.
all
It's
kinds of
special.
places. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, he brought Frenchie to us too. We Sub introduced us to Frenchie, and I think he introduced most of the world to Frenchie. Really, him and maybe Aficionado. Frenchie really loved Leo and Aficionado.
Dude, you can't go wrong with Leo. If we talk
cool
about one of my favorite breeders, he's another one of my favorite
That's
breeders.
what I was gonna say. Yeah,
I got a bunch of them. It's like Jackson too. But Leo, I've ran a bunch of his gear, and I have a lot of respect for Leo for the quality of seeds that he makes. And even though he puts a higher price tag, I have a lot of respect for him for doing that. And he's the one who kind of got me to put a higher price tag, because with my old seed company, we didn't charge a lot for our seeds, and then. I felt like we needed to step it up and have something for everybody. And I saw Leo. So we have some stuff that's really expensive, and we have some stuff that's affordable.
Yeah. That's what's cool. Like, and I feel like, some of these strains, that Leo is doing, and some of the stuff that you're doing, like, they're worth that money. It's not like it's worth getting these genetics for these prices because they're special. Like, they need to be separated, just like cannabis on the shelf. It's got to be separated from quality. Well,
and I'm not making them in a closet. We have a fucking expensive facility, right? And so with the facility comes labor and expense and money, and so we recoup the money by selling seeds, right? That's one of the things that we do. We make some money in advertising for the podcast, and we make some money for this, for that, and the books. We sell books, we sell seeds, but really what we sell is seeds. And I think some of this stuff takes a lot of R&D, and we have to run it multiple times, and so we do put a higher price tag on some of that stuff. And
for sure,
I think that's a good thing.
And even if you're doing it small, like sometimes Leo doesn't do big things, I don't think. And it's like your personal preference and selection, all the years of knowledge you have is all into that breeding project. So it's then and us, we're just dabbling, you know, we're not doing nothing crazy. We're just starting to kind of dive in more of the breeding lane right now with our headies because we just like the headies the most. So that's like one that appeals to us to keep working on and back crossing and playing with and F2 and 3 and we'll make some feminized things and we'll do everything with that plant now just for fun to learn and to see what its back parents or you know what's behind that strain and what it can do to other strains. And so right now we do just like F1s and Subcool really he got us to like F1s a long time ago too. Like he really liked F1s and I like them too. Like I like the Pheno hunt. I like the selection. I think you can have super amazing shit right off the bat. Every strain's so good already. Like a twist on it is very easy to do. You could put a twist on anything cool and make it your own and then take it from there if you want, or just smoke the originals. First find and shit.
Well, and it's like I'm in the game of selling clones too, right? So that's part of our model is selling clones. We're going direct to consumer online, selling clones. And F1s are where it's at with a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of what people call F1s aren't true F1s necessarily. They're these crosses that are basic. A lot of people are inbreeding thinking they're making F1s for one thing, especially with the gelatos. But yeah, by taking two things, crossing them together, especially if you're taking something old and something new or something with a bunch of diversity, I think that's where the magic's at.
It's really cool breeding. It's super fun. We didn't realize how cool it was till just recently, like the last couple of years. It's so dope to see different strains, and we just like growing from seed too. So it's like we love growing giant plants. It's like besides the legal side of the game, where like the permitted farms have to be grown differently because of the money and the cost, and trying to maximize square footage and all this bullshit, and growing the same strain so you can have packs of the same strain. Like we love just pheno hunting, starting from seed, growing giant plants.
Nice.
And it's just funner for us. It's like a funner year for us. This last couple of years isn't as fun as it used to be with legalization. This whole thing's changing. And right now it's like last 2 years are kind of just like, or just trying to figure out our next chapter. So like, we're going to do some different stuff this year, focus more on the music, do some giant plants, just do
collaborations.
A lot of collaborations.
Yep.
A lot of music
having
collabs,
fun.
Weed collab stuff.
Right.
More like helping farmers out there that have super badass farms and product that we can help sell some of their stuff through the brand.
Nice.
A lot of seeds, just like pushing seeds too.
Seeds are good.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
great.
love the seed thing.
Putting seeds out there. And I feel like that's another thing you could sell at your merch booth.
Oh yeah. We've been going hard on the seeds.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Like in Spain, we did with Humboldt. We had our seed drop there with Humboldt, so it was super cool, and we're super happy. We just started getting cool with that just last couple of years and doing some pheno hunt stuff with him. And
nice.
To do the booth with him was super cool because, like in Spain, it was all brand new shit to us. We didn't know what to expect or how prepped we have to be, and we know how hard it is to make a dope booth.
Right.
Already in
They
Cali.
do a great job. They do a great job with everything.
Yeah,
super good job.
They had it set up super pro and just made it real smooth. We had our little spot. We sold a shitload of seeds. There's a lot of fans we saw. It was just like super badass.
So Hallie was our #1 viewed podcast of all time.
Yeah, oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Shout out to the whole Humboldt crew. Yeah, we love that whole crew. Like
we still got to get Ben on here, but like
Ben's
literally,
crazy smart.
yeah, Brent, he's great. Yeah, he's super knowledgeable.
Crazy
he's
smart.
really well spoken. It'd be great to have on the show.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just starting to get cool with those guys. It's funny, like in the mountains, in Emerald Triangle, where a lot of people think we know everyone out there and we hang out all the time, but really we're in our zone out there. There's a lot of people that live an hour away, 2 hours away. We don't see them once a year. We see them at the Cups. You know what I mean? We don't see each other all that much, even though we're in the same county. It's really spread out. Takes days to get everywhere.
So what do you guys think of this?
That was delicious.
Fire.
Do you like this or the OG better?
The OG was really nice. I gotta say,
it's good OG,
I
right?
liked it a lot.
Dude,
I got
that
another
OG
piece here to twist up.
Dude, there's something special about OG.
It is. It's always special. Like you can't go wrong with OG.
Kick
I
now
love
for
it.
the
But
last
that is
couple.
like that had such good flavor for sure. That was
and this is crippy piatella with Z flower. And so it's this combo where you get the gas with the Z. So it's like a little candy, but it's super strong.
right
The Z by itself lately hasn't been super strong. It's batch to batch.
for sure.
It's funny we said Hallie because the time we got the strong batch of Z, she smoked it on the air with me when we did our podcast, and we were both completely ripped. But it's very rare for Z to get me that high unless I'm putting it in a hash hole.
For sure.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier too, we like our headies is our super favorite smoke, the high of it, and it's super gassy. So like when we get some Z, we just put like 30% Z in the blunt, and Skittle like makes a little bit of that zest in there.
Yeah,
Love it.
We call it zesting these days. Like with the blueberry muffins from Humboldt too, super light smoke, not the best in the blunt because we like the blunts, and it's like kind of burns hot, kind of fast.
Not that strong.
Not super strong. So we mix like 10% of that. Just sprinkle a little powder on top of the Kush, and that little flavor add is super nice.
Flavor with a kick. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, we've been doing the Piatella toffee.
Yeah. Look at
and
that.
This
is
special.
Yeah, that looks like Frenchie used to give us.
This is my so like yeah, I mean I wasn't super close with Frenchie, but I knew Frenchie, and I interviewed Frenchie for my book about breeding because I wanted to write a chapter on breeding for washers. I didn't end up writing a whole chapter on it, but that's going to come in the next book, is definitely because that's what I'm doing now, is breeding for washers.
Nice.
But I took a deep dive in hash, Piatella, rosin, all this stuff because I really want to breed for those different lanes than just the standard stuff people are breeding for. So I'm like, okay, there's a lot of people that are breeding for washers, but how am I going to make it special? How am I going to do it different? Well, I want to understand the hash process, and I also want to understand what works really good with Piatella because I really like old school hash. And that's my little ode to Frenchie. And, you know, he had impact on everybody.
He did.
He was just an amazing soul.
He was. It was so dope hanging out with Frenchie and being able to, you know, wash on the mountain with Frenchie, like right in the garden. We got to do hash right off the plant together and just go through the whole experience with him. And
stayed up all night that night, just sleep in the hammock for like 30 minutes and get up and cut more for him. Just to make sure his machine was running.
Wow.
Keep up with him.
Yeah. And like
wild.
Him just making, being able to work with different stuff that we grown. Like I remember the vanilla Kush was one of his favorites. He was just blown away when we were growing that one, and the hash that he made from it was so special. We had such dope cannolis that we would bring, like that he would bring over to us. It's like, oh my goodness.
We still have a pretty nice amount of hash from him from
really?
Like 2013.
I'll be up next week.
15 and 16.
Come on up.
Literally, I'll be up next week. I'm serious.
So
yes,
special.
I love hash, and I love, especially since I found a new appreciation for it. I've been making hash for almost 30 years, right? In 1997 was the first time I made hash without bubble bags, with silk screens brought down from the mountains from my buddy Micah. Maybe it was 98, but it was before we had bubble bags, and we did them with silk screens, hand stirred. We used to dry it on the silk screen. We didn't know that you could like scoop it out and dry it somewhere else. And then like literally there was a point where we were putting them in plastic bags and walking around with them in our shoes to like press it out.
All kinds of wild school one time. Someone told us about the shoe tech.
Yeah.
I remember
better than
that.
the ball tech. like literally.
There's so many old techs.
Yeah. So many old techs and so many wild ways to do stuff, dude. It's like,
isn't it crazy how much the game has evolved in the hash and dab world? Like, it's so trippy how we watched that whole explosion happen.
Yet I still like bubble hash the most. It's so funny going back to bubble hash now because I loved rosin for a hot second. I was like, I still love rosin. Don't get me wrong. There's amazing rosin. The rosin makers today, even the guys doing blends, some people are doing epic things. But that's like the 6-star bubble hash before it was even called 6-star. But the really good bubble hash, dude, is just, it's super smooth. That's what's in here too, right?
Yeah.
It's bubble hash and then it's rolled with a little bit of heat, Frenchie style, with the wine bottle from Press Club. Big shout out, Press Club. Thank you for the roller.
Nice.
Yeah, that's super legit.
It is.
Yeah,
it's smooth.
It's something about that traditional style. I mean, people ain't been doing that for hundreds of years for no reason.
And I'm rolling perfect hash holes now, so you can see the hole. Right?
I know. Look at that. It's perfect.
Yeah. So this has a learning curve too. There's a learning curve with the hash holes, like on how to roll them. And it's like,
no doubt.
You know, I've been diving into rolling. I love rolling joints. I've always loved rolling joints, but like they've gotten better and better and better because I want to be able to work with my cultivation partners and train their people how to make them up to my standards, especially if I'm going to put my label on it with theirs. And so I'm like, well, I got to learn how to roll this. And we got to learn how to make hash. And the best hash makers around. We're working with some of the best.
Nice.
And yeah, so these guys at SF Can are crushing it with the flower, like literally growing amazing stuff and growing some of my expressions better than I was growing them, which, I mean, I'm able to do the pheno hunts properly because I can really make the plants express. I think that's the most important thing. But yeah, but then also finding people that can grow them well.
For sure. Yeah, it's always nice when you see the people that are real professional at it and taking your genetics to the next level.
And take the pride in it. And it's like, it's just so amazing when we can take pride in what we do.
And it motivates us to go harder, like you're saying. It's like,
Oh yeah.
okay, wait a second.
I need to step my game up too constantly. And the needle is constantly moving. I mean, every year it changes a little bit. What people want changes from year to year. There was the big gelato craze where it was like everything was gelato and LCG and runts, and they're still popular. But
seems like it, yeah.
But yeah, especially in the Bay. But one thing I love the most about the Emerald Triangle is when we were at Terpnami this year, and the guys from the hills came down, and they brought a bunch of sativas, and it was like my friend Arjan. He's from Greenhouse. He's from the Netherlands, or not originally, but he's got Greenhouse in the Netherlands. He's in Thailand. He's all over. The guy's amazing, but he was in shock when he saw all these different sativas, especially the hazes, right? And these are all haze variations that range from everything you've ever seen, from super silver, amnesia, they've got that super lemon, like those hazes, and then all these new modern crosses with them that were a little bit different. And there had to be 30 different hazes, not just sativas, but like haze variety. And so you're not really seeing that as much in the Bay or in LA, but up in the hills, they're like going for diversity.
Yeah, there's crazy fire stuff in the hills. It's like the stores kind of throw it off too, for this new game that we're in, because of the testing and stuff. That the stores don't even want to buy stuff if it's not like over 25%. Like there's so many
silly.
stupid rules with the testing that throws all these old school super bomb strains off, because they ain't testing at over 25% for sure.
No, my sour diesel used to test at 14% when we first started doing testing 13 years ago through Halent. And I'm sure that number would be double now, but still that sour diesel would put people on their ass.
Right.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would take it indoors. I would take it 12 weeks. Right. So I took it to the full extent. Like I wanted stronger weed. Now, if I was growing for terps, I would probably go a little bit less, like maybe 11. Because the longer you go, the stronger it gets. And I wanted strong flower. I feel like when people were paying money, and it still was like that sour diesel, like unmistakable sour diesel smell.
Nice.
That's another one that's making a comeback. Budgelero, dude, Dave from Budgelero, he's up in Mendo. He's killing it. And he's the only one that I've seen with real sour. Prove me wrong, guys, but he's the only one to this day in the last 5 years that really has the real sour. I've seen some stuff that's sour, but not the exact sour expression that I remember, where maybe they have the same genetics, but they're not getting it to express the same way. But sour is one of my favorites.
Classic.
Yeah.
Sour was special.
I haven't seen any just classic sour. And
no, I haven't seen any. I've seen a couple different things that are sourish, but for sure not regular sour that we used to see back in the day. We also, we only grew it a few times, really. We would see homies growing it, but we only grew it a couple times, mostly for personal, even at that point.
Yeah.
Because we did like the smoke, but we just didn't like how it grew, so we never really fucked with it. Like we kept doing the seed starts and...
Sour, we get crazy yields, though. There's 10-pound plants. Like there's pictures of me from years ago with 10-pound plants, like literally giants. Right by now, like we're at the beginning of May, they would already be starting to get big.
Yeah.
How are your plants
right now?
Yeah.
Oh man, the ones that we just picked out for this year, we're doing the Battle of the Trees. So me and Brian are competing and open to everybody out there to grow the biggest plant. We just transplanted our picks into 15-gallon pots, and they're like damn near chin high already, and like big stems branching out crazy.
Wow.
They're fucking the best seed starts that we've had in a while going into
probably double planting. What they should like. They're more than double what they should be, but they're double what we've normally been doing for sure.
Nice.
The last few years, so we have like crazy high hopes. We just since it's a battle, it's like makes us go harder again, and we're filming and everything. So like we're all the way in, trying our hardest right now.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And we have so much more time now to just focus on this like personal patches and just music, where we're just having fun with these plants and really trying to push these ones to their max.
That's awesome.
What's the full potential?
You bring the music out to the field too?
Oh yeah, for sure. We've recorded 4 albums outside. Right. Like 3 of them have been like at permanent locations, and then the 4th one that we did, we traveled around to different gardens and set the studio up.
Wow.
And it was really legit. Like we got to go out to Terphog's garden with Tony and
Sick.
And Fields and record right in the middle of like Skittles and all these things, and then go up to Heart Rock Mountain Farm and record in next to his trees and special stuff that he's breeding. Like
Yeah.
the vibe was so sick. Like just being outside recording the albums was insanely fun. Like when we did the first one,
Yeah.
it was like, because all we did from the very beginning is everything's been intertwined, music and cannabis, and like
Totally.
to have our gear out in the garden while we're watering and feeding, and Bleezy's making a beat, and I'm just kind of vibing out, thinking of ideas while cleaning the plants, like
Right.
and record. And the recording of it, it was like, wow, this is like, it sounds really good.
So we're doing a farm tour this summer, and I'd love to have you guys as part of it. And then also we'll do some sort of tutorial, and we can do some music and other stuff, I think.
Oh yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Let's make it happen.
Super fun.
Come by the Battle of the Trees stomping grounds. Yeah,
I'm down for sure. Yeah. So tell me about your cultivation style. What kind of substrate do you guys use? You're using soil.
Yep. We're no-till farmers.
Nice.
Straight, just living soil. We just try to build our soil, and we work with nature.
Is it full no-till? Like you're just pulling the root ball, or is it
full no-till?
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. The mounds that we've been doing at my spot that I'm at, I mean, we're on like 7 years.
That's amazing.
Some of these spots. Only adding, dry amendments, compost, doing teas and cover crops and
nice.
All that good stuff.
True regenerative farming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up. Yep.
I fell in love with it.
Yeah, loved it. Yep.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because I hear these guys that are growing indoors. I got soil guys bagging on Rockwell guys, guys bagging on coca guys. But unless it's like fully regenerative, like quit bagging on each other, guys.
For
like,
sure.
I'm serious. If you're regenerative, you can hate on everybody. But like otherwise, quit bagging on the guys, because each one of those substrates has some form of a problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
It's just, we're just grew up in Mendo and being in the Emerald Triangle and stuff like that. It's just like, it makes total sense to us to grow with the planet and just like use the climate that we live in.
Right.
It's so cool seeing what we can do out there in just one season.
Yep.
Seed to the end. It's insane. It blows my mind. Like the tiniest little seed, what I mean? Like, how is this little seed in the jar can be?
Well, we were little seeds
big.
too at one point.
Yes, we were.
Yeah, even smaller than that.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, it's amazing. Like, okay, if you look at, there's probably 4 million seeds out here, right? And how many, if you think 4 million seeds at a 2-pound plant, that's a lot.
That's
right?
a lot. And that capability to a 10
8
pound.
million pounds, right? Like, and it sounds crazy, right?
Wow.
But like, yeah, it sounds crazy. But that's the beauty of being a breeder, guys. So like, if you get, when you're breeding and what you're contributing to the earth, if that actually gets planted someday, all those seeds you're putting out, I think cannabis by itself makes the world a better place. Putting it in the ground, it's a bioremediator. There's all these amazing things that it does, and creating oxygen. I mean, so like, really, if you want to have positive impact, you should be making seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
For
should
sure.
be.
And you should be growing no-till.
Yeah.
Actually, like big farms outside, like it's crazy how much, like, learning over time and watching documentaries and different things about, modern agriculture, of how they're tilling up soil, and like it's killing the planet. It's crazy how much.
Well, where they get the peat from, if we're talking about guys that get peat, Rockwell, has its own, we're talking about, okay, well, it's not biodegradable and all this other stuff, but Rockwell is special in its own right. But like, as far as like the best for Mother Earth is always going to be regenerative, right?
Yeah.
No till, where you're not taking stuff from outside. If you're doing it with native soil, you're even more of a gangster.
Yeah, that's what's
For
dope
sure.
about it. It's so cool. That's where like Frenchie would also for years, Frenchie would tell us like, you guys are here in a special place. You need to have your plants in the like when we were growing in pots. You guys should have your plants in the ground. And we're like, oh, this dirt's kind of hard here. It's going to take whatever, a lot of work. And he was like, there's something special in the ground in each person's terroir. Like every single area has something that if you're using that native soil, there's going to be a difference. And then after the years of doing it, it's noticeable for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I bet. Especially 7 seasons. I think that's a great start.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait to see the 30th.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Know, right? It's I wish that we could still have as big of a patch we used to in the backyard and have the full sea of green style, but it's super dope, just being able to focus in on.
How many plants do you guys have?
We're only gonna be doing 6.
Oh,
6
only
each
6
at the house. Yeah.
It's for
6 each.
Yeah.
6 at each of our houses, and then a couple extra on the side. But the cops or the whatever enforcement came to his house last year just for 6 plants. It's like,
well, I had 8 plants.
Oh, 8 plants.
And then made you cut 2 of them down?
Yeah, they were trying to get me to cut the whole garden down.
Oh, that's not right.
No,
yeah,
it was
think of that.
It was
This
messed up.
Right
and
up
it used
the road,
to be 99, man. This is like
it's right up the road. If you pay the money and pay the cops off, you can have a 10,000 square foot garden, and you could grow as much as you want. You know what I mean? Unlimited plants, unlimited to the square footage. It's like, but then for a personal garden, we're getting harassed at the same year for having 2 plants over the limit.
Yeah, 2 plants over the limit.
So I got a loophole for you guys. You guys are gonna love this, and you guys watching are gonna love this too. But basically, if you did it right, you could graft upon a graft upon a graft, grow these plants out really big, graft them all together, have them grow up. You could probably grow 30-pound plants, and then you just grow 6 30-pound plants. They might change the rules.
Are you saying
grafting plants from one to the next, actually getting big pieces and then growing those out?
Full graft to hook it to an original bigger plant?
I don't know how much they'd have to be connected. I guess different root ball. I mean, how are they going to count the 6 as long as they're connected?
Yeah, that would count as one root base.
Yeah.
But what's your mother plant that you're hooking the branches to? Some bigger
start? You probably have a bigger start. I mean, I don't know. We'd have to figure this out.
Cool.
It would be cool though, but to be able to graft on, yeah.
One thing about square footage too is like, do they count the levels up? Like say these indoor rooms.
Oh, you guys have square footage requirements too, right?
Yeah, it's 10,000 square foot in Mendo, and that's another reason why Mendo got fucked too. You know, it's like everyone's growing. In the beginning, it wasn't supposed to be like this when they changed the law to be legal, but then all of a sudden, everyone grows acres in Mendo, and Humboldt a little bit. Maybe they fucked Humboldt over too. I don't know the politics exactly, but they did. But how is that Emerald Triangle being the mecca of cannabis, but then limited to the least canopy size out of almost anywhere?
I know it's sad, right? It's sad because basically you're taking away people's opportunity for their livelihoods, and the people that you're hurting are the ones that built the industry, right? Like in my opinion,
insane. Yeah.
Those are the real guys in Mendocino, Humboldt. I mean, there's guys in the Bay Area too. Don't get me wrong.
There is gangsters all over Cali.
Yeah, we did it all together, right?
SoCal too.
But to basically make the guys that want to stay in Mendo and do it right, make them follow by these rules where it's 10,000 square feet, you're basically taking money out of their pocket where they can't go any bigger. So they're going to go either somewhere else or they're going to try to do 10,000. It's really hard for them to profit at the scale they're limited to these days.
Yeah, these days, the way the game's changed and evolved over a couple of years only, it's turned into where 10,000 square foot garden ain't shit. It used to be huge. When we first started growing, when it went legal and we partnered up with Green Shock, it was like we always were doing the personal garden. We worked up to 25, got rated. It was like a 300-pound garden, 200-something pound garden off those 25 plants probably.
Yeah.
We got rated. So then we just did 6 plants and started filming our whole how to grow these plants. Like we just wanted to go like Subcool got us juiced on filming, and we wanted to just like promote how to grow 6 plants for the world instead of like go in the mountains and go grow a bunch of plants again and risk getting rated again and trying to make a bunch of money that way.
So if you're a home grower, are you limited by square foot too? I mean, obviously 10,000.
You could do
like
supposedly in our it's county to county and everything for sure, but in our county they say you could do 6 plants. Maybe it varies. Everyone's crops are different, but if 6 plants, or if you have 2 cars at the household, you could do 12 plants. Or instead of a plant count, you could do a 100 square foot. So like a 10 by 10 area is equivalent to 6 plants.
Okay, so is that outdoor too?
Yeah, outdoor or indoor.
10 by 10. They limit you to a 10 by 10.
That would, if you So think what the plants we grow. That's 1 plant. So obviously we're going to pick the 6 plant option.
Yeah, for sure.
But then, but at least it's nice to also, it's not nice. It's cool to be able to grow legally 6 still, but it's kind of funny to harass in Mendo about this. But off season, when you have your indoor room, a 10 by 10 area for like your personal, that's pretty cool. So like, it's not just outdoor that we always would focus on. So like having a legal personal everything means you can have your mother safely. You should be able to not get harassed for square footage. For say you have like 60 plants in your mother room, they're going to harass you about the plant size if they can fit in a 10 by 10 area. Yeah, like that little thing is kind of cool or whatever. But
you guys grow big plants in 400-gallon pots. How big?
It's all in the ground now.
Oh, it's in the ground.
But we got up to 1,000-gallon pots.
Wow.
Yeah. At the end of our pot life, we went. There was 1,000.
That's big.
Yeah. It was 200s for a bit, and then we were like, we're overgrowing them hardcore. They're drying out all the time. So we went to 400s, and then it was like
some trees. We did a huge,
there were some
crazy
big trees, and they were like, wow, we're still filling these ones up. And then moved up to 600 gallons, and we're like, it's not like that big of a difference. We could
Yeah.
Probably fill it more. And as a joke with Soil King, actually, we started talking about it because we were working with Smart Pots and they were sponsored
We
us.
thought
And
6
Nice.
was the biggest they went. Okay.
and he was like, "Oh, we can make anything, whatever you guys want to do. If we want to do 1,000-gallon pot, fuck it, let's do it."
We're like, we
It's like a
can't. I don't know if we
kiddie
can
pool.
buy
Yeah.
that much soil, dog. That's a lot of soil
He's
to
like, "I'll
do.
fill it. I'll fill it. You guys do 1,000-gallon pots. I'll fill them up. Whatever you
Yeah.
want to do."
That's wild.
Wild.
He dropped it was the first time we probably had a tractor drop off dirt at our house for our garden. It was like, holy.
It was like 5 yards of soil.
For each pot was 5
There's
yards
only
of
two
soil.
type of cannabis cultivators: the ones with tractors and the ones without. Like literally.
And when you need a what's it called? Where it's
Heavy
the
machinery.
2-trailer dump trucks on
Yeah.
you, the transfer trucks. When you need a transfer truck, going to the farm that we've been growing at, we broke the dude's truck. He said he's not going to bring dirt to us down there no more because
Wow.
it's such a windy little S turn coming down the garden, and it snapped his truck kind of.
Yep. So after the pots, we just went into the ground, and
Yeah.
just started doing everything has been in the ground.
Yeah, that size.
Yeah,
It's like
makes so
It's
much more
basically
sense.
1,000-gallon pot is in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is in the ground. Even though it looks like it's above the ground, it technically.
and that pot too is like 7 years old, maybe 6. Is
Wow.
that like at least 7 years old? There's one pot left in his garden, and the 1,000-gallon, and it's like
Yeah, I mean,
super old
that
and
was like-
sagged. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it almost doesn't look.
I think
like
it was
there's a pot left.
2016 when we set that pot out there at first, right?
Maybe I
I
don't
think
know.
it was because
Yeah,
it was
probably.
on the DVD, the first DVD we did. So
Yeah.
it's coming up. Yeah, it's like 9-year-old pot.
Yeah,
Nice.
smart pots hold up. Smart pots, I
Crazy.
think, are the best. Still, they're the originators.
There's
and
a
the
there's a
best.
bunch of. I remember my buddy had spring pots.
Yeah,
Dan from
yeah.
Spring Pots.
knew
I
spring
used those.
pots.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
did those a lot. They stand up on their own.
It was
Yeah.
the cool
We did
feature,
them too.
It was a
yeah.
cool
but
feature.
it also tears the bag.
Dude, filling those things was smart pots. It was rough though filling them, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of knockoffs and they're still around.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah,
No, they've
fabric
been
pot.
solid for
If
sure.
you're gonna do a pot, I would suggest fabric pot for outdoor, especially indoors.
Yeah.
I don't know about fabric pots. We've tried them inside, and they don't seem to work
No,
quite the same.
never
I
liked
think
Watering
most people
Same.
plastic pots. Like it depends on cocoa or soil. If you're going soil, I guess you could use, but reusing them, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not the ideal situation.
No, for sure.
But I love them outside.
I
Never
used to use
anything else.
Aeropots with soil back in the day. The ones with the holes in them.
Oh,
All the way
yeah,
up top?
Yeah.
That have
Those
holes all the way
circle
around.
things?
You snap together. They're
Yeah.
4 pieces.
I
And
always
then you have the
wanted to
bottom.
use those. We never did.
Yeah, yeah.
Those ones are pretty trippy.
My aunt was using those back in the day. Aunt and uncle. They
Seemed
turned me
really
on
cool.
to those. 10-gallon, 10 gallons under a 4x4.
Nice.
That was the thing. And big monster plants, right? Big long
Filling
veg.
it.
Topped them multiple times.
Full canopy.
Full canopy.
Yep.
Full canopy. Yeah, it was good. Sour diesel, chem dog. We did all that stuff on there.
Nice.
But yeah, I miss some of the old genetics. So back in the day, when you guys first started smoking, what were the crosses that everyone was consuming besides Mendo Purple?
Like the first strains that we were seeing
Yeah,
was like Blue Dream for sure,
Remember
and like
that Hawaiian strain?
Hawaiian Snow or which one?
Just Hawaiian.
just called Hawaiian at that moment.
Was it like a velvety, like neon green, or
Ye-
was it because we used to get this Maui Wowie that was kind of like that? And
It wasn't, I wouldn't say super neon green. It was more of like a silverish tint or something that I remember.
yeah,
Something very
there was
special.
the Jack too.
Jack
There was the blue
around a
dot
lot.
and the red dot.
the Blue Dot was special.
Blue
Hawa-
Dot was
Halloween. There was one called Halloween. that was
Halloween.
so fire.
Crazy.
Then like G13 and
I
some
remember
other
the
random
G13.
ones.
super silver haze.
Dude, that Blue Dot used to come out of the hills for $4,500 a pound, or at least it would come down maybe for less. But by the time it got to the Bay, it was $4,500 a pound. Those were the days.
The first cannabis store that opened was like 2004 in our town, and our
Yeah.
homie had a card. His mom got him a card when you could get one before you're 18.
Yeah.
He was like 17 and a senior, and we started getting hooked on going to the store. He'd go to the store for us, and then as soon as we got our cards, there's the first store in town that would have such bomb weed. Oh, they had this strain called Dementia too. That was this purple strain. It was
Yeah.
so fire.
Yeah.
Dementia, yeah, I know about dementia.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know about crazy stuff.
Dementia is the one that we made dementia, and it was Blue Dream times amnesia. It was called dementia.
Really?
Mm.
Was
So
it
back
purple
with
too?
loud seeds? Yeah, it was. Still, we had a little bit of purple tint to it, but it was bigger buds.
This was nice chunky buds in the
Yeah.
eggs we'd get, but purple.
So we were smoking your weed back in the
It's,
day?
it's totally possible. Yeah, the
Ah,
other one,
love it.
Loudberry. People smoke a lot of Loudberry, the original Loud, the Loudberry.
Shishka berry?
We didn't do Shishkaberry.
Shishkaberry.
Shishkaberry was special.
People were
I
growing
love
Shishkaberry.
Yeah.
That was kind of
Shishkaberry.
hashy almost. If I remember
Yeah.
right. People
We had the
hands
Trinity.
were sticky harvesting that shit.
And then there was the Aota that was floating around like your area. see what else. The Hassan, which was like lamb's bread. I think lamb's bread and Hassan are very similar.
Lamb's bread.
I miss
Romulan. God's gift.
Oh yeah, Romulan.
Romulan was fire. Yeah, God's gift. We had blue moonshine. We had some of the flow and blue moonshine stuff too back in the day, trying to find the
I got some seeds
flavors.
I got seeds right now. I'm popping seeds right now with the flow.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
that's cool.
That one was a unique one. That was a trip back in the day when we first saw that one. It had such a different taste.
Right. I'm going back to like some of the original seed stock that I got. And we also have washers and some of the stuff that I'm like, okay, maybe that would wash, or maybe that would do this, or maybe that would add value if I breed it with this. So I'm going through my old seed lots. I lost my seed collection and then got a new one. And then I got gifted seeds from so many people, some really old school, amazing stuff.
Nice.
Acapulco. I got some Acapulco hybrids from a friend and we're popping those right now. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, cool.
Marlon got me seeds in Jamaica from Orange Hill.
Yeah.
Awesome. We messed up last year and started some GDP we got from Ken like years and years ago. And we just started them regular style and they didn't pop. They're too old. We should have had someone help us with them, start them a little, give them a sensitive start. We gave them the rough start and just then none popped. We just kind of wasted a 10-pack of real GDP.
That sucks. Well, was it Ken's GDP?
Yeah.
That's not real GDP.
No, well, it was GDP and Ken's GDP. We had both.
Okay.
And both of them.
I'm not sure. Well, so GDP was a Pheno, and then Ken's GDP was his own thing. It was different than the GDP that I remember.
Oh, no. It was Ken's GDP and Ken's Kush is what the ones two started. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then, because we had Jimmy Myers on the show, and there's nothing, I'm not bagging on Ken or anything like that, because he's he's got his own thing going or whatever. But yeah, Jimmy was the guy who got the cut from Mendo, and then basically it got named that at the third floor when he was selling it as perps. And just the perps, and they wanted a better name because they're like, that's not going to sell. So we want to call it GDP, Granddaddy Purple. And so we had that story. I wanted to get that story. Sonny Chiba is the one who introduced me to Jimmy, and Jimmy came on the show, and Jimmy's the man.
Funny how so many big strains have funny stories.
For sure.
Skittles especially.
Yeah, we joke about that a lot on my show.
Dude, like the best ones have the weirdest stories.
Origin stories of all the great strains. It's like, it's really interesting, some of this stuff. And a lot of stuff comes from, a lot of the best stuff came from bag seeds.
Yeah.
Like literally someone got a seed or they gave a seed. I just gave out a bunch of bag seeds to my friends from some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see if anything comes from that. And every once in a while, stuff gets hermed or it freaking stresses out. You get a fucking stressor.
Random seeds, yeah.
All of a sudden, there's some random seeds. And sometimes if there's just one seed, those are the best seeds.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is like,
find one.
If you have that 1 pound and it was that life-saving seed that the plant created for survival.
Survival seed.
Yeah, those survival seeds are the special ones.
Yeah, I believe that.
Our very first plant that we grew was a bag seed.
Yeah.
Yep. And we got to end up keeping. Our mom found it in this pot we had hanging up in the backyard. Wow. And she ended up letting us keep it. And we grew it out, and oh my God, it was so special. It was crazy. Like, it ended up being straight, dark, crazy purple color, but it didn't have no kind of grapey purple smell. It was something different, unique.
I remember being in Rick Daddy's car driving through Sacramento. He had his old school Chevy and hella speakers in it, just slapping, and we're trying to break down that shit. It was so sticky. It was like so impossible to break down. It was the craziest. Right. I remember it was when we first got microscoped too, and we microscoped and like the secondaries, or like we cut a bunch of it and there was a little bit left, and we microscoped and it was like a castle, like a giant trichome triangle with a big head on it. It was
milky as hell too. So much dark purple flower with the milky trichome contrast. I could still picture it easily. It was crazy. So dope remembering back at that stage of seeing it for the first time, and it was special. But that bag seed, came out the bag random from one of our homies we used to buy weed from, and it was something special.
Yeah, I feel you. So, and some of the best stuff, and that's how you could tell real smokers. It's by the bag seed collection that they got, where they've saved this from that. And like I always had bag seeds. Yeah, rolling joints too. You're always about to grind it up, and you're like, oh, there's a seed here, and fucking, I always saved my seeds, and we found some amazing stuff over the years from just the most random bag seeds. Yep. I wish I would have saved more of the Mexican brickweed bag seeds. Because I went through the Mexican brickweed phase when I was 15 or something like that.
That's so crazy. There's different people that laugh at us because we never experienced any of that stuff. Like different OGs that have laced us up about what they went through. Totally. We never went through none of that.
None of the brickweed. You guys had good weed from day one.
Only time we ever saw brickweed was when we went to Mexico and we bought weed from over. And it wasn't brickweed. It was just a bag of seeds and stems.
For fun, yeah. We knew it was shitty weed, but
we just had to smoke.
Yeah, my Uncle Pat, he went to Casa Key, and there was the Casa, dude, like the most psychedelic weed ever came from Casa Key, Mexico. We called it the Casa Key. He gave me some of the seeds and we had popped them. I don't think I have any more. I was saving them for years to wait till it was the right time to pop them, and then we didn't. But like when we did pop them, it was like some crazy psychedelic weed that you would go on a journey. You would get so lit from it.
Interesting.
You know, and there's not a lot of stuff like that. Even the strongest stuff, we got some Crippy right now that's kind of like that, where it just like, it's not that sativa coffee, like where you get the heart races at all or the palpitations. It's like the eyes are tight, you're going down.
You're just glued.
Yeah, like if you take a big dab, you're not going to be talking for 30 minutes.
That's cool.
Your friends are going to be like, "Are you okay?" You're not going to respond. So good times.
That's cool. You know what that just reminded me of was the cheese. What happened to cheese?
It's still around. I see Nick T selling seeds of it. Nick T.
What?
Yeah, he's got some cheese.
Where's the cheese?
Shout out to the homie. Everyone wants the cheese.
Dog.
$300 is $300 a clone.
It don't matter.
Yeah. No, I think that's worth $300. I mean, what's a clone?
Someone said they had it for $1,000 and we were about to pitch in on it. We don't even care.
Yeah, just call Nick.
Real cheese.
He's got the real deal. His Ghost OG is real. All of his stuff is real. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a reliable source.
Yeah, for sure. I like cheese. That was another one that was strong and good.
It was.
And unique. It was different.
We promoted cheese the hardest besides TGA. It was like TGA seeds and cheese we were growing for days before Vanilla Kush. And our homies were growing cheese. We all had cheese. We'd take it to Stack and all the studios. They hated it for a little bit, but then they started liking it a lot.
They were like, what the hell is this? And remember,
they don't want to buy any of it, but they love smoking it.
Hell yeah, they were loving smoking it, but the looks of it was always funny. Sometimes a little more stemmy than usual stuff and had these extra stems in it.
It's always with the sideways stem. Like one stem was sideways, then it went up, and you want to leave that little bud when you trimmed it.
Good smoke. We found
that's how you know if
special cheeses.
As soon as I get the cut from Nick T, I'm gonna know right away. I put that bitch in flower. Should go sideways, not tall.
Right.
Have super sideways stems with these little knuckles on the corners of the thing.
I love good cheese.
It's a good one.
The blue cheese was good too. DJ Shorts, that blue cheese was solid.
The first blue cheese we got from a club was so special.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with blue cheese. All the good. I mean, there's a couple different variations of cheese that I've seen over the years. There's like the Exodus cheese, and then there's the UK cheese, the Exodus cheese, Milo's cheese. Rest in peace, Milo.
Big Buddha cheese.
Big Buddha. Yeah, he was. That was the Big Buddha. Was Milo's cheese.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, really special stuff. And there's been a bunch of stuff we've seen. Romulan. We were talking a little about Romulan. We just had Jake from Romulan on the show. Like his father was part of. Yeah, well, his father was part of like the whole breeding project. It was more than one person's effort.
He sells seeds of it with a Romulan name on it?
Dude, he has the most amazing seed company because he crosses Romulan with everything and then puts it out. He does some pheno hunting, stress testing. He doesn't release everything that he makes, but he's a really smart guy. He was on the show. I have a lot of respect for him. He does some really amazing photos. And so we met over Instagram photos and I was like, damn, your photos are really good. And then I was asking him, well, how do you do this? How do you do that?
Nice.
And that was like before everyone was getting deleted on Instagram.
Yeah.
Man,
that was crazy.
What a cutthroat world it is. That's the most fucked up thing to get deleted with a swipe of a computer button.
Yeah, all this hard-earned time. Like literally, you have to put time to build these accounts. They don't build themselves. It's not just luck.
It's hella money. If you added up the money, and you know how much these big-ass people are making money, these influencers, that you hear some of the numbers these people make. It's not like we cannabis people can't make some of that money or like a little bit of money.
We should be able to tap into that.
Are you kidding me? They're making like 100,000 a post and shit like that. Like, and you're gonna delete people's accounts that has the capability to make money, let alone what they do on the side, just being known.
I think The Rock makes $4 million, and it's $3 or $4 million per Instagram post. Is what he charges.
My Lord,
good for him. Good for him. I'm like, it's
a hustle.
That's good. There's
a lot of ways to hustle yourself.
I'm happy to get like 3,000.
Yeah, we've turned them all down, only promote our homies. But there is people that we need to start doing some kind of it's crazy. We've dodging all kinds of bullets. We've been deleted right before we hit 100,000, like 2017 or something, and then it took till now
a long time to build it back up again after the
a long time and slow crawl.
It's a slow crawl to go up. You know what I mean? Like we're lucky if we do a few hundred a month. You know what I mean? We have better months than others, and I had months where it was going down. It was like, going down. I got deleted 3 times now.
Ridgeline just got deleted again. He's got like verified and all this.
It's really annoying when they go after guys like Jason and Johnny. It's like,
Yeah.
leave those guys be.
Johnny's doing nothing but good, positive stuff, putting out legit fire medicine. The way he grows is it's beautiful. It's a farm. It's like, it's how could
we
you
talk about it before, like if weed wasn't hated on, like the whole, when it changed and everything was outlawed, if that never happened and weed was just promoted and turned into a good thing from the beginning, you know how like famous weed people would be and how much love they would get worldwide and how embraced they would be and how much views and plays they would get on their posts and how much teaching people would actually be promoted. You know what I mean? If you're actually showing people how it's done right and like hit people like Johnny with this badass garden that's so pretty, how you're not going to promote that? How like the world doesn't want you to promote that. Like the totally, companies that own these companies don't want that lifestyle promoted. They like the other side of the game. It's crazy.
We just want to be tomato farmers, guys, and treat it as such. You know what I mean?
It's so crazy because you just live off the land. Yeah, so this is the coolest thing ever.
Putting plants in the ground and watching plants grow. I mean, one of the greatest things in life.
It is. And I get just excited off the vegetables that we grow or new flowers that we're planting and seeing them bloom. It's like, I get super stoked. I know. Just like a weed plant.
Every time I go over there, he's all happy about his lupine right now.
Totally. I got males going right now. I'm collecting pollen. So we put them into flower, right? And so I could get those in April and collect pollen. We're going to put pollen in for the season. My buddy Dave, I'll be bringing pollen up for you guys too.
Nice.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Because I just want to share pollen. I feel like that's a great way to collaborate. And it's also just a great thing to share with friends, right? That grow good weed. But yeah, I'm more excited about the males right now than I am about the pheno because I know what's happening with the pheno because it's the second round. So I'm like, I pretty much know that these are these are the superstars. These are the next, and then the stuff that I'm questionable about. But with the males, I'm like, I get to see those every day. I get to go shake them a little bit, see how much pollen's flying.
Hell yeah.
And then see, because in April it was still getting cold, so I could see which ones really turn from the temperature.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I have a haze that turns purple with the temperature, but it's straight. Even the stock rub on it is like straight haze, like loud haze. And so we're putting that with a couple different things that we got.
Nice.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yep. The breeder mind when the males are getting more enticing than the females.
Right. And at the facility, we're not allowed to, there's no males allowed here. I made it a rule from day one, no male plants are ever allowed in the building because with feminized cross-contamination, if it ever did happen, it wouldn't be as big of a deal as if you're taking autoflowers or if you're taking photo periods that someone's going to put an acre of them out and they get males. Like that's really bad. If they get females and maybe it's a little unless it's autoflower versus photo period, you're usually okay.
Yeah.
But I do not want to accidentally contaminate. And we try to do everything possible to not contaminate anything, but every once in a while, you never know, it could happen. And so we eliminate that by me getting the males in my house.
The male keeper.
Yep.
Yep, that's smart. There's so many cool techniques.
Yeah, and then I bring the pollen in pollen bags. I've been posting some of those where we put them in the pollen bags and tie them to the branches.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah, it's the way to do it, and pretty much every year. Yeah, and the thing is like a lot of the stuff, I don't want to make a bunch of regular seeds. I want to make enough to where we can pop in pheno hunt. We need 200, 300 seeds tops, right? And a lot of the stuff I have the plants, so we can find more males. We can find the female typically because we save everything in TC. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How many plants do you have in TC?
A couple hundred, I believe, right now.
Nice.
How big does that area take up?
I mean, it's only a small room, but the thing is we work with Apical Biotech out of SAC, and everything goes in little dishes, right? And then gets transplanted from the dishes. They're basically they go. Everything is grown from culture, and then even our moms in our nursery are from tissue culture. So everything is like a Gen 1, except for our moms in the nursery, which are Gen 0s. So I like the way that Gen 1s perform. Some people say Gen 0s are better. Some people say Gen 1 is better.
That's interesting.
As long as it's healthy and clean, that's all I care about, right? We don't want any pests or pathogens, contaminants. I'm really concerned about giving hop latent to people. Such a problem. More of a problem. And Fusarium's another one.
Yeah, I know. It started kicking in last year. Yep. We saw that firsthand.
That's a pretty heartbreaking problem.
Root rot.
Yeah, the plant just die right in front of you. A whole
where the whole plant just goes away and you're like, what the fuck happened?
Crunchy, beautiful, happy plant to what is happening real fast.
Seems like a huge problem.
Well, and I think a lot of people are misdiagnosing their hop latent viroid for Fusarium. And there's a whole bunch of shit. There's systemic bacteria. There's, there's so many pathogens that we're not even aware of. And everything now it's hop latent is everywhere. They're like, it's hop latent. It's hop latent. And you can, hop plating is a problem, right? You can get it in, from breeding. You can breed it into a plant, unfortunately.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so I think, but the more conversations we have about it, the more we can be aware of, it's like, that's the elephant in the room a lot of times when we're talking about nurseries or with genetics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. These days when you're doing it legit, it's super serious business. It's cool that you're taking it to that level. So some of these places that sell these nurseries that sell plants to a lot of permitted farms where you can buy like all kinds of cool shit like Purple City Genetics and these other ones. They got crazy facilities, it seems like, and everything's got to be so on point for the customer to be happy when they're growing these plants these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean the nursery model is a rough one. We're not trying, like with us, we're not trying to be a full nursery. We do it for breeding, and we're going direct to consumer with clones.
And that's super
but there's
cool.
guys
Those
that
packages are nice,
dude. There's this race to the bottom in the nursery where like teens used to be 20, and now they got RTFs, they're ready to flip plants for $7 down in the valley or in Salinas on the coast. And it's like ready to flip plants for $7 in metric. That's wild. But,
yeah, it is.
Well, and you're basically undercutting everyone at the knees, and basically where people were like thinking they're going to make a bunch of money, and you got this other guy who's going.
Yeah.
That's
Same
rough.
as how it went with the pound prices.
Right, they're $300 pounds. It's like, how do you make
one
money?
dude starts doing it, and that's the word now.
And then it becomes the standard, and it's rough because it's worth more than that. It's worth more than that at the end where it goes down to the consumer. They're paying more than that. But the problem is now the farmer's getting fucked instead of like the guys where it's getting more evenly divided.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because it hasn't dropped that much to where the guys on the streets or the guys in the dispensaries.
Yep.
The dispensaries, they're still paying, and maybe they're paying $100 ounces are still going on all the time. And that's $1,600 retail. You know what I mean? So that makes sense, right? But they still should be paying that farmer more than $300. He should be making $600.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Or, I mean, $600 is more than fair, right? For an outdoor pound.
Exactly.
Even $1,000 should be more than fair. I guess when there's a surplus of it, I understand where the price, but $100 an ounce feels pretty good to me. Like I feel good buying an ounce for $100. Even still, I'll buy my friend's weed. When I get $100, I feel like that's still a deal because it takes me a good amount of time to smoke.
Yeah.
If you look at a bottle of wine that I spend $100 on, we drink it at night.
Yeah.
If I buy
for sure,
if I buy wine like that, a $300 ounce or $100 ounce doesn't bother me. Like I don't mind paying for really good special stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a great price.
And I feel like from where we come from of like being in it longer or whatever, like we appreciate the value of what like good weed. And like we know what good weed is worth. And that's why I feel like farmers like, Ridgeline and Huckleberry and Sticky Fields and these guys, like
love Jesse.
We should be getting good prices for this weed. It should be set at a standard. There's like standards, there's quality levels, and there's like what's behind it, who's growing it, the style of how it's grown. Like it makes a big difference in the final outcome of flowers and what the customer actually gets to enjoy.
Right.
A lot of fire out there. A lot of people killing it.
There's a lot of people killing it, dude. There's a lot of, and the ones that are left outdoors wise are just growing. There's some really good fire out there still. There's some, I miss some of the stuff that's not there anymore, but also there's some guys just crushing it, Sticky over at Sticky Fields and Sticky Farms. I'm friends with both those guys.
Hell yeah.
And Pablo's over there crushing it. The Pluto.
Yep.
Oh, nice. He's the Pluto man?
He's the Pluto guy.
The Pluto
okay,
man.
Awesome. We just crossed one of our heady OGs to Pluto E85 thing.
Oh, yeah.
We really like it.
Yeah, I like the original Pluto. There's the P5. We got another Blue Dream. We got, Pluto's good, dude.
It's fun, yeah.
We're going to have some monsters with the Pluto in it this year.
It checks the boxes. It's one of those ones, like, it's also a finicky plant. Like, you got to top it properly. Otherwise, the inside doesn't get as purple. Right? So there's like, when you know the strain and you've worked with it a bunch, then it's like, okay, I just do these things and it comes out amazing. Some guys, it's like we had clones, went out to some of our friends and they were like, I don't like, it's green in the middle. And it's like, dude, like top the plants a couple times. He fixes that, totally fixes that problem. You know what I mean? Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny learning the genetics. And then like for you guys, you're growing the genetics year after year from seed. So you're learning a lot about the different genetics as you're breeding other stuff into them too, I bet.
Yeah, it's been super fun. And I've been talking about it a little bit. Like there's just too many selections now. There's so much to choose from. Like how do we choose? It's like easier now for us as we get into breeding to just keep working with our stuff. And then we cross just cool things we find and like and friends like.
It's better. I think that's the best way is taking your own work and then slowly bringing stuff into it and seeing how it works with your stuff. But yeah, I think that's the best way. I think I got a lot of respect for people that use their own donors. I mean, even if you make S1s of stuff and use those for donors, sometimes you'll find better stuff in the S1, not always.
Yeah.
Skittles, no. Skittles definitely no. The S1s suck of Skittles. They're the worst of the worst. It's like, and there's nothing as good as Skittles. It's not worth, what I learned from making Skittles S1s is sometimes it's not even worth going through S1s. And so, and other times like Gelato 33, for sure, there's tons of amazing stuff in there.
Yeah.
Blue Dream, you can go through the S1s, but you're going to get a dead on Blue Dream and then 3 other phenotypes. Right, that are similar. One is way more hazy. One is more blueberry with not as good a structure, which is cool too. Like those are cool for breeding.
Yep.
But yeah, it's really interesting. And then bringing the old school back with the new school, I feel like that's got to come back
for sure. Definitely, people are craving the old school again.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like what you were talking about, your seeds you were gifted too. We have so many seeds that we've been gifted through the years. It's so like we haven't got a chance to start a bunch because everything's just what we have to grow at the legal farm. We can't just do a lot of experimenting up there, and we've been focused on that.
Right.
And it's just like we have too many to start anyways, but it's so cool. We have strains from all around the world, like crazy special stuff. We should maybe take some pictures of things we think are special and send to you to see what you think, if you think there's anything you like, because it's some cool shit from all around the world that we just haven't had a chance to pop. So
we can pop in vitro. Yeah, I have a pretty big Landrace collection. I'm always looking to add on to the Landrace collection, but I have definitely, I think, over 150 cultivars from around the world.
Nice.
These seed varieties and so a bunch of them. Well, the project hasn't started yet. It was supposed to start this season, but it's going to start next year. And I'm basically going to be cloning and sending clones up to places. All right. So like you guys want to run some Landrace, I'm going to have this selection of Landrace. We'll have 10, 15 varieties of Landrace for you guys to pick from. And then we grow it in your climate and see how it performs. And some of the stuff is going to perform well and some is not going to well, but it's all Landrace. So you got to be wary of hermaphrodites. You don't want pollen flying and pollinating your other stuff.
Super long flowering times on those.
Some of them are and some of them aren't. Okay. I have some stuff from India that's very short flowering. Nice. That's like some cushy stuff. Like not like what people think of as OG Kush, but more like the Hindu-y.
Hindu?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Hindu
style.
I have some crazy Hindu.
Oh man, I miss Hindu Kush bad.
You don't see it anymore, and most people don't know Kush is Hindu Kush. You know, when you see it.
That was so special. Oh my.
We had homies that were growing the tightest little circle plants, just so dense, so fucking small, but such nice yielders.
The flavor was so nice on that. Just such a piercer. Just
get you ripped too.
Lord, yeah.
I remember. So the Master and the Bubba. I don't know if you guys remember when they came out. I remember seeing them in the late '90s, early 2000s a lot. Right, but the original Master that I think I saw in '97 the first time, it grew like a Christmas tree looking, but it had like, instead of it just growing up in these nice buds, it would have these weird shaped buds where like it would almost grow on the branch and then the little bracts would pop off of it. And it was really strange looking.
Rattlesnake tail.
Yeah, it was really weird. Amazing smoke. Down to the roach, tasted gassy and funky and just like really ridiculous. Yeah, big fan. Bubba Kush too. It was like that Bubba soapy.
That was nice. And that was a good producer too. Big old chunky buds, round buds.
Oh yeah.
I think it was nice.
What about Trainwreck?
I love Trainwreck too. That was a strong one. And with the golf, it would grow with golf balls.
It was a yielder.
It was a crazy.
It looked funny though. It was always a funny looking plant.
Yeah, for sure. And it was if you had to enjoy that taste, that terp. To really like it, or it would just like totally was loud. Turn you off.
Right. And I think that there was a time where everybody wanted Jacks, right? And Jacks were the thing to have, like 90s, early 2000s. If you had Jack, dude, Jack was what's up. Right. But it wasn't just one type of Jack. There was a bunch of different Jacks. I mean, I remember the Jack Frost, the Jack Flash was my favorite. I would still love a cut of that more than anything if somebody has it, because it was like funky, strong. But there was all these different Jacks. And not just what people today know as Jack. They're just like, oh, it's this lemon thing that, you know, we in California, we don't buy Jack, or we don't like it. No, Jack was really good, and it was amazing and very, it yielded well, and it smoked really good, and it was like amazing terps.
I liked the Jack a lot.
Yep.
That was fire smoke.
Rest in peace, Jack.
Yep.
Yeah,
he's
a legend for sure.
Got to give respect to all the legends out there.
So many.
They paved the way for us to be here.
We've lost so many along the way too. So many great breeders, you know, Sam, the Skunk Man just recently passed. Neville passed a while back. Like these guys are these are heavy contributors to our industry. People that did a lot. You know, we're standing on the shoulders of guys like that.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy time. It's crazy that none of them have anything big going on, huh? Ed Rosenthal, whoever else, these old school dudes that are left in the game. There's
Ed's a
not
character.
like a big, yeah, he's
Ed's
just kind of
hella
hard
funny.
to work with probably, but
It's so
we
funny,
love him.
yeah.
He's so funny.
My grumpy uncle
Oh my
Ed.
God.
Love you, Ed.
When more we
Man,
got to
much
know
love
him,
to
he
Ed,
cracks
yeah.
us up in Spain. He was so funny. He was hanging with
He's a
us too.
soldier.
He is
3
a
in the
soldier.
morning.
He's up with us till the crack of fucking morning.
No,
but
Ed's fun,
everyone
man.
else is
Like
sleeping. He's still out
Eddie
there
left
smoking
before
with
he
us.
passed too. You know, like
Yeah.
there's so many of these people.
Oh,
Like
man.
there's not. None of these big companies have helped anyone. That's for sure. Besides himself, it seems like there's not like any legends that have any cool something. And it's not like it's easy, I guess, because it's not like Willie Nelson's thing worked too good in Cali or any of these celebrity brands.
The
don't
celebrity
really-
brands were a problem because they came
Doesn't-
out not realizing that they had to have the best product. Like, look at Wiz Khalifa's great with his brands and stuff like that. And some of these guys,
in Cali too. Is Wiz in Cali or no?
I don't even know Metric brands
Yeah,
that well.
I haven't seen him in any stores
But-
really.
But I'll
Yeah.
tell you, like Willie, like I think, and some of these other brands, like, you know, Willie's an OG, he's a smoker.
Yeah,
But like I saw the Marleys came out with this amazing opportunity early on in California when they had that grow in the prison and all these other things. And I'm like, cool, these guys are
super
doing it.
cool. Uh-huh.
But quality is so much more important than your brand and your name, especially if you're coming from a different place. You need to bring the quality too. If you have the name,
Mm-hmm.
bring the quality first.
You got to.
It's gotta be quality. Otherwise, just don't do it. I think it's just a waste, especially now, this day and age.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to rely on just your name to sell because they might try it once and you might have initial push that's really good. But if you're not backing it up with quality to where they're like, fuck, that's good, I need to go buy it again. Price point, whatever. I think price point's obviously a big seller, but as long as you're in that price point and you have some sort of brand and you have a good product, you're going to win.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the biggest product SKU right now is like $1 and $5 pre-rolls.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say,
Isn't that
but the
crazy?
hottest sellers, are the budget sales.
Budget,
People that
yeah,
don't
budget
have
and
money.
volume. And it's like,
Uh-huh.
that's not the lane I'm excited about at all. I'm like excited about the other lane where it's like, you don't make as much money, but it's the most amazing product.
Right.
Where you're putting smiles on people's faces. I think.
Uh-huh. Really
yeah,
impressive.
there was years ago that we met a dude at one of the cups that was selling just pre-roll material to roll your own pre-roll, just ground up weed.
Wow.
And he was his whole garden, he'd just do that, and he was murdering it. He said, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's so much easier.
Yeah.
You don't care about nothing. You just ground every single.
Go get a
flower up.
Vitamix and fucking you're good to go. Don't trim it. Let's just grind
And
it.
he has. I'm like, this guy, dude, what a
Bro.
crazy model that is. I can't believe you can make the same as much as us, caring everything about every step,
Right.
very carefully, harassing people about what they're doing wrong the whole time, trying to make sure they do it just like us, exactly like we want it to be, just like we do it. And but then they're the totally opposite model.
Right. Well, and there's a lane for everybody, I guess, is the truth. It's like there's some people and that's what they love and they're gonna. I'm just not passionate about that lane. That's just like race to the bottom, $1 joints. And some of my friends are, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I respect them for wanting to do it, and it's cool. But I'm like, how do we do $50 joints? And it's not that I want to rip people off. I want to give them the value for when they buy a joint for 50. It's going to be an eighth. And it's going to be like, shit, that puts a smile on my face because that's some of the best things I've ever tasted.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so if we put stuff out, it's only going to be that, right? I'm only going to do this stuff where it's like, oh shit, it's expensive, but it was worth the price.
That's
I say that now and I'm going to be doing the $1 joints now.
No, looking back. Oh, shit.
That's
I'm
what
like-
sucks about legalization with us, like doing this, not doing the farm this year. We're super happy about it. It's like
Yeah.
we're in the beginning, we were kind of like, oh, this is weird. We've been doing this legal thing since it went legal, and it almost feels like we had to in a way, you know what I mean? Like for the
Right.
brand and for this and that, different reasons. And even at the same time, we know like we don't have to have our weed on the shelf to feel special or to even to survive or whatever. It's just a cool thing to do because we love it and we've been growing weed for days, so it's awesome to be on the shelf. But it's turning into just like being a regular farm worker. Like we might as well just go
Mhm.
back to the nursery and start growing pears or some shit. Like we're just growing pears now, almost. Like it's not
Yeah,
fun to be
vegetables.
growing as a farmer, getting shit money to just keep growing every year.
Well, the shit money part is it needs to be a living wage. It needs to be something worth doing, right? Where you can retire from something. That's the idea, is what we're all trying to do. And now that I get older, I think about that more. When I was in my 30s, I wasn't thinking about when am I going to retire. Now I'm like 48
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
well, I'm going to retire sometime not soon necessarily, but I'm thinking about retirement already.
Yeah, you're a grown man now.
In the
Yeah.
brain.
Exactly. Like I'm not going to be able to do this forever.
Uh-huh.
I'm not looking like, oh yeah, I need to retire in the next year or 3 years or 5 years, but and I love what I do still.
Yep.
You know what I mean, if I didn't love what I do, it'd be different. But also we need to be able to make the kind of money that you can do that with, right? And that was the beauty of the traditional market in a lot of ways. The guys that were successful then really crushed it. And I think there's lots of ways in, you know, setting yourself apart where you can still do that, whether it's through music, whether it's through podcasts or books or whatever else.
Exactly. The plant has so many options.
Right.
You don't have to sell pounds to survive in the cannabis industry. You can do so many things.
No, you just got to be creative.
New things.
You gotta be
You can make a
creative,
whole new
yeah.
thing. Podcast is a new thing, and you can make good money, and you can have fun doing it. And it's all about weed again. It's like, we've realized for days because of the music, we don't have to sell pounds to survive or to feed our family. We don't have to only sell pounds. You know what I mean? It's always been like growing up in Mendo.
Yeah.
Turkey bag, pounds. Everything's just, you're growing pounds to survive. That's
Turkey
how
bag
everyone
mafia.
lives. You know? What else are you gonna sell? It's like it's just always pounds. It's always pound.
Right.
It's so funny. And now it's like it's just not as fun, as it used to be because you have to grow so much. So you turn into a full-time worker in the field. And to be able to do everything else and also run the field and the garden, you have to have a great team. And then the more people in the team, the more pie gets cut. But a great team makes it fun and cool still. But when the team ain't working right, it ain't gonna
Well, you
be
can't do it
possible.
without a great team. That's the other thing. I mean, you can, but like if you want great results, you got to have a good team.
Yeah,
and it's like whether it's music or whether it's out in the field or whether it's
music is
cultivation.
the most noticeable. I think music by far. Like if we had a band we didn't like, we would have been done doing the band thing.
Well, it could be one guy that just spoils the well. You know, it's
exactly.
like
exactly. One
some
guitar dude,
spoilers,
one
for sure,
drummer,
one guy on the keyboard that keeps passing out, you know, or whatever it is. You know?
Yeah, just too wild, whatever it is. Yeah, it's hard to deal with. So it's interesting. This year's we're really happy the way that that we're just making a change.
Yeah,
totally.
It feels real good. Yeah.
So if you guys had one thing that you could tell your younger selves, what would that one thing be?
I would say maybe not so much video games. I think about it sometimes. A lot of hours in the video games.
Yeah.
I think hours into the stuff we do now.
Right.
It's crazy.
Quit those. Yeah, I don't do video games.
We were hooked.
Yeah.
I did a little bit when I was
Grand
a
Theft
kid.
Auto alone could take up your life.
We had a little segment of just hardcore video gaming. And we watched different homies of ours go deep into the video game, and we're like, "Oh God, what are you doing over here?"
Yeah, seriously.
But it was we had fun at the time. But looking back, if we would have not been messing around at a certain time and got on the game a little more and just been a little more up to our like business mindset of taking things like and not just messing around and having so much fun, we could could have made a difference if we started doing stuff like that earlier.
Nice.
But you gotta learn as you go. There's all kind of stuff that we're learning all the time, and from mistakes that you make, and learning from those, and just always trying to elevate.
Yeah,
it's a challenge.
It's a challenge. Stepping up every day.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's fun about what we do and what everyone does in this industry is like you wake up in the morning and you can do you're your own boss. A lot of us, and we get to do all kinds of cool shit. Even if you're working for companies these days, because not a lot of people left in the game. You have to work for certain companies now, a lot of these people. So it's super cool to be in the cannabis industry and have a weed job. It's crazy badass. So like just to be able to, but when you're living and making your own rules and wake up every day, there's so much to do. Like you're talking about too, like I already know how busy you must be because you go crazy. And we don't even understand how people are busier than us. It doesn't even make sense. We stay moving and people talk about it all the time. I don't know how you guys do what you do. Mostly it's because we're two of us to do what we do, but with the family too, like we're really focused on our family. Yeah. Our kids are we just started having kids recently. So like he has got two, I got two, I got another one coming in like 6 weeks.
Wow.
So
family's building.
Family's taking up some time and we don't want to
the next generation.
Yeah, the next generations. And everyone always, and we're, I'm almost 40, so I'm having kids later in my life and so many of my homies. So I've seen how fast it goes and I want to make sure that like I'll slow down time right now. So working on the farms and stuff is taking up so much time to not be worth it. And family first for me for sure right now.
100%.
Yep.
Well, if people are trying to find more about Mendo Dope, where's the best place to go?
The best place to go, I'd say, is like our home base, mendodopemusic.com and mendodopefarms.com.
Nice.
We have all our info there. You can get to anywhere from there, music, gear, seeds.
Instagram is Mendo Dope.
Mendo Dope Boys on Instagram. YouTube, we have all of our grow documentaries on this year. This year we're doing the Battle of the Trees.
Yeah.
So me and Bleezy are competing in the big tree grow off. So that's going to be dope. We're going to be doing like videos every 2 weeks, updating everyone on what's going on.
Wow.
So YouTube is going to be cool. We're going to focus more on that this year, more videos, more content for people. Nice. And yeah, traveling around, spreading some new music. The new album just dropped on 420. So we're just going hard right now.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys this summer up at the farm.
Oh yeah, man. Come on up whenever you're ready. Studio open. We got old hash curing up.
I'm ready.
Plans to see music.
I'm ready for the Frenchie. I'll bring my Atom Smasher.
Yeah. Yes, do it.
Right on. Thank you guys.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe down below.